Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm gonna try and make this video without becoming a total fanboy because I'm, a huge Demarcus Cousins fan. I've been a fan since the Kings drafted him. I knew he was gonna be an all-star. Ever since the Kings drafted him a few years ago. Even with all the bullshit, I thought the Kings were gonna be dumb if they decided to trade him, if the Maloofs decided to trade him, or whatever. When all those things were going on. I've always been a fan, and I would be frustrated if I was in the same situation too. So when I see this, I can totally relate to it. But there's a few things that I don't understand about what Demarcus Cousins said. First, they asked him if he's pumped up, because he just hit a buzzer beater, and he won the game essentially versus the Suns. Hit that buzzer beater, and so I guess the media, first question they asked him is he pumped up?
No, I ain't pumped up. I just got a lot on my mind.
Yeah, I guess I would have a lot on my mind too. There's all these reports coming in of George Karl, and he's going to become the next head coach after, Mike Malone just got fired, a few weeks ago. So, and the Kings are not playing very good team basketball. They are playing a lot of one-on-one, a lot of low posts, and as a team, they're not playing very good team-wise. Tonight was the best game that I've seen them play as a team, as a complete team, in a really long time. Probably since like Peja and White Chocolate were playing. So tonight was the first game in a really long time that they've actually played like a team, from my opinion. That Ben McLemore was hitting shots. People were starting to get into a rhythm, and you don't normally see that a lot versus the Kings, or versus when the Kings play.
And the crazy thing about it, I just got a question for y'all. How you gonna stop God's plan? How you gonna do that?
Do you think it's gossip?
How you gonna do that? That's what I want to know. How you gonna stop God's plan?
I don't know what the heck he's talking about. God's plan. Obviously, the media ain't gonna stop God's plan, but they're gonna try and create their own plan. That's pretty much how that goes. They're gonna try and make something out of nothing, and you know how the media goes.
Man, this city done put me through so much. I done stayed loyal to it the whole time.
Yep, and he's right. I mean, if you think about it, Demarcus Cousins had to deal with the Maloofs, crappy head coaches, crappy drafts, crappy players, all these things, man. And talking about trading them, and but that's part of the business. That's how it goes. But Demarcus Cousins has never talked about oh, I want to be traded, except maybe that one time a long time ago. But Demarcus Cousins has pretty much stayed loyal to the Kings, and the Kings, it seems like the only person they're kind of loyal to is Jason Thompson. But I mean, if you notice, they let Isaiah Thomas go, they let Mike Malone go, they're letting people go. It's the nature of the business, but Demarcus Cousins is a loyal guy, and I hope he's a King for the rest of his career.
Hey, I just want to know how you gonna stop God's plan. God give his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. The marathon continues. I'm out.
The marathon continues. That is being a Kings player. So obviously this is a really hard time for Demarcus Cousins, and a hard time for Kings fans, and a hard time for just the Sacramento Kings in general. Right now, the Kings are on, pretty much a quasi-losing streak since they started out, 5-1. I think they've lost 30 of their last 40 games. So they're on a pretty bad losing streak. Don't know how to close games. It's just been a free fall ever since Mike Malone got injured and DeMarcus Cousins got sick and was out for a few weeks. So, there's that building on top of there's this coach that is kind of like a lame duck coach now. Because of the losing streak, they're already talking about replacing the coach who took over for Mike Malone, who started the season as the Kings coach. But Tyrone Corbin hasn't produced enough wins to really stay the Kings coach, even though they said he was going to be the coach for the rest of the year. So there's that on top of everything. And then, the Kings' attitude has totally changed, which, DeMarcus Cousins called him out in interviews with the media, saying, we need to play. The only thing that's changed is our attitude. I mean, it's the same group of guys that started 5-1. You'd think that they wouldn't have lost, 30 or 40 games, but they have. And half of it, not all of it, is blamed on the coach. If Mike Malone was still there, I mean, how many games do you think that they'd have won by now? Do you think they'd be a 30-win team right now? I don't know, man. The Kings had lost, blew some pretty big games during when Malone was still there. I mean, they were up by 20 multiple times. They were up by 20 points versus the Thunder. Comes to mind, definitely. And they lost. So there's that. All that I can really say is that people that are saying DeMarcus Cousins should be traded and, get George Karl at all costs, and the media is saying that if George Karl doesn't show up, it's DeMarcus Cousins' fault. Man, you're fucking crazy if you think that we should trade DeMarcus Cousins for anybody. I don't want anybody else. I don't want Durant. I don't want fucking LeBron. I don't want Kobe. I want DeMarcus Cousins. So, if you think that should happen, you're fucking crazy. Can't believe people would even think that. It's astonishing to me. And maybe that's part of the reason why DeMarcus Cousins is saying, oh, well, I've been loyal to this city. Now they want to... Now some people are talking about trading me for George Karl, a 64-year-old head coach. Get the fuck out of here. Keep Tyrone Corbin. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to lose DeMarcus Cousins for George fucking Karl, that's for sure. Who's going to get us to the playoffs, George Karl or DeMarcus Cousins? It sure as fuck is not George Karl if we lose DeMarcus Cousins, that's for sure. I like George Karl. I want him to be the coach. But there's other people. There's other people that are younger that can come in and, do the same job. George Karl's never won a championship, so... I mean, we're not talking about a championship here. I don't see that happening with George Karl. We'll see, We'll see if it happens, but I mean, you're looking at playoffs with George Karl. But if even you get that in the West, because it's a tough fucking division, So, if you even get that. If you get the playoffs. So, anyways, it's a tough year to be a King fan again. I thought this year we were focusing on wins, and and I don't think we really know how to get there yet. We can, tonight we played good up until the fourth quarter, but the offense didn't come around in the fourth quarter, and people are saying that the Kings played a full 48 minutes tonight. It ain't true. We only scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. That is not acceptable. If you play a full 48 minutes, you play like you did tonight, except you extend it into the fourth quarter. The Kings were gassed in the fourth quarter. The starters probably should have been taken out because they couldn't score. It was ridiculous. It became one-on-one basketball again. It was ridiculous. The Kings should have scored 100 points tonight, but they didn't. They got the win. That's all that matters. But if they keep playing like this, then I'm excited, and I don't care if we get George Karl. It doesn't matter to me. If they keep playing, if they play like this every night, then they don't need George Karl. Fuck George Karl. And all this media shitstorm, it's all for nothing. I feel like. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. Congratulations to Boogie on making the All-Star team, and go Kings.